Welcome to The Nation Wants No More, the podcast that gives hysterical news the send-off it deserves. I'm Anjana Menon. Each week, I take the news, real, ridiculous, or just plain noisy, and give it a gentle twist of satire. If you've ever screamed into a cushion after watching the headlines, this one's for you. Quick, sharp, and slightly unhinged, because really, the nation has had enough. I can't get the tech bros out of my head. They are such drama kings. Take Elon Musk, the original Doge father, also known as the baby-making machine in a hoodie. Look at what that Doge captaincy got him. A sharp drop in Tesla profits, an X-shaped hole in the stock market, and loads of Tesla haters. But what trumps it all is an exciting powwow match with the US president, in which we have the ringside view. We all thought our Mars colonizing technocrat would have learnt a lesson or two and gone back to making babies after he exited Doge, stood around at a press meet with a black eye, and failed to make the $2 trillion in cuts that he was expected to.
He is at war with the president, and they are slugging it out on the world's only freedom-loving platform X, formerly known as Twitter. It's a fight to the finish, and it's tweet upon tweet. I'm really excited because now I can just cite their example to tell men that andropause is real and menopause is passé. Elon is a true tech bro. He knows his opponent's weak spot and the limits of Trump's vocabulary, so he threw in a googly. He called Trump's budget a disgusting abomination.
A bomb? What?
That's when the White House rang up Faizan Zaki, yes, our Indian origin spelling bee champ, to ask if he could spell abomination and maybe explain it to the president slowly. And that, dear listeners, is when someone in the West Wing whispered, maybe we should rethink the immigration policy, sir. Look how handy these Indian immigrants are, Mr. President. Trump sniggered and said,
let's call the first and second runners up instead of reversing policy.
Or a junior aide piped up very quietly that they too were of Indian origin, and there's now a plan to rename the spelling bee Vartani Madhumakhi, which of course is what we'd call it in Hindi if it were held in India with Indian kids instead of in America with Indian kids. You just can't escape us Indians. We're everywhere conquering the world one word at a time, one startup at a time. And speaking of escaping, say hello to Builder.ai, an AI startup so slick, Microsoft and Qatari investors nearly broke fingernails fighting to invest in it. I remember watching the Indian origin founder in awe, talking about how his company was deploying AI to replace humans.
Right. Human beings as a species get bored. We don't like to do the same thing 100 times, especially if it requires processing data and doing something or the other differently. So this is where both knowledge graphs, classical machine learning, generative AI become really powerful. Right? And then the other one is reduction in human work, which is a little bit different. It's not so much about the repetition work, but it's more about, well, do we really need someone to be doing that? And
he sounds so authentic and sincere, right? Well, he was going good until some nosy journalist discovered that instead of using machine learning to create software, the self-anointed chief wizard had hired humans to mimic machine learning. And despite all the tech bro declarations that AI would make coders obsolete, Builder.ai had proved them wrong. The wizard had hired 700 human coders in India to pretend to be AI. And the slick AI assistant Natasha on their website? Yeah, turns out she was actually Nandan, a very real, warm-blooded brown guy, coding away in a stuffy air-conditioned room somewhere in India. No machine learning, just actual learning. And as it happens, tons of repetition. Now, the unicorn-turned-jellyfish has filed for bankruptcy, and the wizard is doing his magic on the boring, repetitive paperwork that comes with such filings. Here is the unicorn math on this. Each coder was worth 2.4 million because Builder.ai was valued at 1.5 billion back in 2023 when it had mojo. Now it's worth nada. Gosh, I'm exhausted from doing the math on my old reliable calculator. Mind you, I can't get past 5 zeros given my middle-class values and middling wage history. As for the tech bros with their designer collars, they're busy making up numbers that none of us can count. Should we send them back to school to learn decency and math? I mean, just imagine the joy of seeing them all in the same classroom with their shiny Macs stuffed into those oh-so-sleek air backpacks. You know, the latest ones advertised with the tagline, new look, smarter details, same award-winning DNA. Unlike us and them, at least the backpacks and the tech bros have a lot in common. Here's your hopelessly non-tech auntie signing off until next week. Top tip. Press like and subscribe because those buttons work. And please use your real fingers. before we start getting artificial ones in the market.